Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Mediva. And if you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to make this simple shift dress with elastic waist and shoulder drawstring, just as you can see. And I achieved this style using 2 yards of African print fabric. If this is something you're interested in, make sure to keep watching and make sure you watch till the end. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share to your loved ones, and subscribe to my channel. So for this dress, I made use of 2 yards of this beautiful African print fabric. If you want your gown longer, you will need more fabric. And you also need your elastic thread to create that shearing effect on the waistline. I have my tape rule, my scissors, and my ruler. So we're cutting out the front and the back panels together, and I have my fabric folded already. The front panel is folded and the back panel is also folded into two. So to get the wideness of fabric to fold, I divided my hip measurement by 4, which is 11 inches, and I added 5 extra inches to it to make 16 inches. So for the front panel, I have 16 inches on fold, and the back I also have 16 inches on fold because we will not be adding a zipper to this dress. So this is what we have. So before I go ahead to mark out the full length, I'm going to come down from the upper part of my fabric by 1.5 inches. This allowance is going to be for the drawstring casing on the shoulder area. So come down by 1.5 inches and then connect the points together this way. So this is going to serve as the shoulder line. So from the shoulder line now, I'm going to mark the full length of my dress, which is 37 inches plus 1 inch for folding allowance. So you can decide to make yours longer if you want. The next thing I'm going to do is to come over to the folded part of my fabric and mark the neckline. So the wideness of the neckline is 3.5 inches, while the depth of the front panel is 8 inches, since it's a V-shaped neckline. So I'll take my ruler and just connect the points together this way. So the remaining part is going to serve as the sleeve, which we are going to ruche on the shoulder. So I'll come over to the open angle and come down by 1 inch to mark my shoulder slope and then connect it all the way to make the neckline this way. After that, I'll take the armhole opening. So my normal armhole opening is 8 inches, and then I'll add 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. So mark 10 inches as the armhole opening. Then from that point, I'll come in by 1 inch. Then connect it all the way down to the full length of my dress. We're almost done with the drafting of this dress, and then form a slight curve towards this armhole area. After that, the back neckline is not going to be a V-shaped neckline, it's going to be a simple circle neckline. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the shoulder line and just connect it all the way to meet the neckline width. So guys, this is basically all on how to draft this pattern. Let's go ahead now to cut it out. So I'll start by cutting out the back neckline, and on the shoulder I'll also make sure I have my 1.5 inches allowance. I'll cut out the sides and then separate the front from the back to cut out the front neckline. So after cutting out, this is what we have. This is for the front panel. Remember, we are still going to share the waistline of this dress to give that fitted look, and we're still going to do the same thing for the back panel. So the next one we want to work on now is to cut out facing for the neckline of both the front and the back. So this is me just cutting out the facing for the front panel. I folded the fabric into two and I traced out the neckline on it. I'll add about 2 inches allowance and then just go ahead to create it this way. So you're going to repeat the same process for the back panel. So after cutting out the facing, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to place it right side facing the neckline this way. So starting from the V-shaped area, the sharp V area, I'm going to stitch all the way up using 1/2 inch. I'll come over to the other side and do the same thing. Let me just go ahead and pin the facing to my fabric. So I'm going to do the same thing for the back neckline. I'll place my facing right side facing my fabric this way, and then go ahead to stitch it all the way down. So when I'm done, I will notch the seam and then flip it over to the wrong side. So this is me just notching the seam. So after notching now, I'm going to flip the facing over to the wrong side and then use my hemming gum to seal it. So just iron your hemming gum underneath your facing on the wrong side to seal it up. This is for the back. And then I'll flip it over, iron it, and then insert my hemming gum under this facing to seal it up. So guys, after doing that, this is what it looks like. And on the wrong side, you can see that I've sealed the facing to the fabric using my hemming gum. And this is what the back panel looks like as well. The next thing we want to work on is the shirring on the waistline. So I'm going to come down to my underbust. From my shoulder to my underbust is 13.5 inches. So remember to remove the 1.5 inches allowance on the shoulder first before you mark to your underbust. So for mine it is 13.5 inches. Go ahead to mark it there. And then I'll do the same thing on this other side. I'll first of all come down by 1.5 inches and then take from that point all the way to my underbust. I'll get my ruler now and extend the lines across the fabric. After extending the lines, the next thing is to determine the height of your band. And for mine, I made use of 7 inches. So I kept that by 7 inches from my underbust. And then I'll also extend the line. So between these two lines, I'm going to share that point to create that snatched effect on the waistline. So after that, I'm going to mark half an inch in between these lines. This is going to serve as a guideline when sewing on the fabric. So I'll just mark half an inch all the way down this way. So after marking, I'll use my ruler now to connect the lines together. So if you are not a beginner, you can actually eyeball these measurements and just stitch directly on your fabric. But if you're a beginner, just go ahead to mark the lines this way so that when you are stitching, you just follow these lines. So carefully mark out each of the lines this way. So after marking, you're going to go over to your sewing machine and remove the bobbin. So you're going to be replacing the thread inside the bobbin with your elastic thread, while the one at the upper part of your machine is still your normal regular thread. You're only replacing this particular thread. So go ahead to roll your elastic thread into your bobbin this way. After doing that, then you insert it back normally, just like you do with your normal thread, and bring it out. Then fix it into your sewing machine, and then you can start to stitch. You don't need to do any adjustment or anything to your sewing machine. Just go ahead and start stitching on these lines all the way down. And while you're stitching, you'll be seeing the elastic effect. So guys, after I stitched on mine, this is what it looks like. So remember, you're going to repeat the same process on the back panel of your dress. So this same thing you did in front, you're going to repeat it at the back. Come down from the shoulder by 1.5, and then from that 1.5, you take your under bust measurement. So So this is the back panel and you can see what it looks like. You can see the snatched effect already on the waistline of our dress. So the next thing we want to do now is to join the front and the back panels together on the shoulder. But before you do that, you're going to finish up the sleeve opening first. You can see I already folded mine and stitched all the way down. So after doing that for both the front and the back, I'm going to place them right sides facing each other this way, and then use that 1.5 inches allowance to close up the shoulder. So I'll get my tape rule now and come down by 1.5 inches, and then go ahead to stitch it closed. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side, and when I'm done I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So after closing up the shoulders, this is what it looks like. The next thing we want to do is to create our drawstring casing. So you're going to open up the allowance on the wrong side this way, the shoulder allowance, and then go ahead to iron it out. After ironing, you fold in the edge of the fabric this way, and then go ahead to stitch it all the way down. This is going to help you create a channel where you'll be able to pass your rope through. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Fold in like a quarter of an inch and then stitch it all the way down. On the other side as well, go ahead to iron it out first and then fold in quarter of an inch and stitch it all the way down. So after doing all of that, I'll also close up the sides of my dress. I'll just flip them right sides facing each other this way, and then go ahead to close it up from the armhole area all the way down using 1 inch seam allowance. Go ahead to close it up all the way down, and I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Go ahead to close it up. So after closing up, I'll also finish up the base of my dress by folding in twice and stitching all around. So after I was done with all of that, this is what it looks like. I've gone ahead to create the shoulder, the drawstring casing. I've closed up the sides, and I also finished up the base of the dress, and this is what it looks like. So on the wrong side, this is what we have for the drawstring casing. The next thing you want to do now is to cut out the fabric that you're going to use to create your strings. So I've gone ahead to do mine already, and this is what we have. I have 4 pieces of it, and the length is about 25 inches. So make sure the size of your string is smaller than your casing so that it goes in freely. So I'm going to pass my pin through this way, and then go ahead to pass it through one of the casing this way. So when I get to this upper part, I'll go ahead to stitch it down, and then I'll pass in the second one. So I've gone ahead to pass out the second one. So what I'm going to do now is to just pull it in a bit and then go ahead to stitch it. I'll repeat the same process on the other sleeve and show you guys. So guys, after fixing and stitching down, this is what it looks like. So you just go ahead to arrange your shoulder design this way and then tie it according to how you want it. Just go ahead to tie it, and then you should have something that looks like this. So guys, this is basically all on how to make this simple dress. I hope you found it useful and I hope you learned something new. So this is what it looks like at the end of the day. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, share to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.